Old English grammar. The grammatical structure of Old English. Old English is a more synthetic language than present-day English, in that the grammatical functions of sentence components are singled through three forms, and in particular by inflectional endings, rather than an upward order as in analytic language. 5 cases of Old English. As we know, there are 5 cases in Old English: the nominative, the genitive, the dative, the accusative, and the instrumental. Characteristics of Old English grammar. In grammar, Old English is chiefly distinguished from later stages in the history of English by greater use of a large set of inflections in verbs, nouns, adjectives, and pronouns, and also connected with this by a rather less flexed word order. It preserves grammatical genre in nouns and adjectives. How was Old English structured? Within Old English grammar, nouns, adjectives, and pronouns and verbs have many inflectional endings and forms, and word order is much freer. The oldest Old English inscriptions were written using a runic system, but from about the 8th century this was replaced by a version of the Latin alphabet. Types of Old English. 4 dialects of the Old English language are known: Northumbrian in northern England and southwest Scotland, Mercian in central England, Kentish in southwestern England, and West Saxon in southern and southwestern England. Who is the father of Old English grammar? The Lindley Murray is best known as the father of English grammar, but before he earned that title, he practiced law in New York. In fact, he acted in the 1760s as a legal mentor of John Lay, who would later become the first Chief Justice of the United States. In 1985, Murray emigrated from New York to York, England. Old English words, there are some of them. The examples of modern English words ones, the Old English words and origin of them. The first one is pepper, and the Old English word version is piper, piper. The origins West Germanic. The carriage, the Old English version is herring. The origin of it is also West Germanic. The priest, the version Old English word priest, and the origin is Germanic. Word, the Old English word is world. The origin of this is Germanic. The difference between Old English and Modern English. Modern English has tons of long words from Romance languages, especially French and Latin. Old English is much more Germanic in vocabulary. Modern English has singular and plural forms for pronouns. Old English has singular, plural, and dual forms of pronouns. Tenses in Old English. There were only 2 tenses in Old English, present and preterite. The preterite or pretet, pret, E-R-E-T, abbreviated pret or P-R-T, is a grammatical tense or verb form serving to denote events that took place or were completed in the past. In some languages, such as Spanish, French, and English, its equivalent to the simple past tense either can modify into the subjunctive mood. The present tense is used for the future with context, determining which tense is meant. Main tenses in Old English, present and past. The Old English category of tenses was characterized by a smaller quantitative composition of categorical forms of its components in comparison with modern English. There were two tenses in Old English, present and past. The future tense forms, like other Old Germanic languages, were not presented in Old English. Did Old English have genders? Old English retains all three genders of Proto-Indo-European: masculine, feminine, and neuter. The first grammar. The first man to write a book to grammar was Dionysius Cyrexes, a Greek grammarian who lived in the 1st century BC. His book, Teach Grammatiki, is considered to the first comprehensive grammar of any language. Weak and strong verbs. Strong verbs have the past tense by changing their stem. I sing, I sang, you throw, you threw, while weak verbs add the suffix to the stem. I wish, I wished, you laugh, you laughed. Class are weak verbs have an infinitive ending in an and no vowel before the dental suffix. There are only 4 classes: verbs haben, to have, leben, to live, sagen, to say, and hagen, to think, intend. Articles and word order of Old English. Old English had a definite article, C, in the masculine gender, co, feminine, and pet, neuter. In Middle English, these had all merged into the ancestor of the modern English word the. Word order in Old English is more flexible than in Modern English due to its extensive system of inflections. Subject, verb, object is still the most common order, but verb-subject order occurs regularly in classes introduced by adverbs as per then or new now. History of Old English. The history of English language can be divided into 3 periods: Old English, 5th century AD, 1060 AD, Middle English, 1066 AD, and 1485 AD, and Modern English, 1485 AD and to present. Old English, which is also called Anglo-Saxon, is the oldest variant of the English language. There is some examples that depend to the Old, Middle, and Modern English words. The following of them: the first one is oxa, the second one is broken, and there are some examples that depend to the following criteria.